here's my definition, and here's the one we're going to use at the Warrior. So a client is someone who is a professional, who's someone who's getting a bespoke service. So if I'm offering a consulting organization, people come to me. So when I was running the Felon Group in the beginning, we had clients. Someone said, hey, you're smart. Help me solve this problem. I had a product marketing background. I had an MBA in finance, and I would just solve a problem. And so every time I worked with a customer, that service was bespoke, and bespoke just means one-off, right? So that's not what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to have customers. A customer is a consumer of a product that is productized. Now, Christina said something earlier. She said, I'm selling services. You can sell services, but you can also productize a service.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So it's a clear understanding of who the customer is, a clear understanding of what their pain point is, a definition of your product, what success looks like, and how you measure it. And so people overlook this. They'll start a website and start servicing people and then realize, oh, everyone's a client. And so in my mind, a client is someone who defines the pain point and problem and tells you what solution they need. A customer is someone for whom you solve a problem. And that means that in many cases, people who would be clients are not customers. Right? So someone might see James's app and say, oh my God, this totally could be great for our business. And let's say that he thinks they're a customer, they fit his ideal customer profile. And they say, but you know what? We need these other 10 features. And then as James surveys the market, he realizes that one person has requirements and expectations that differ by an order of magnitude from his customers. And he might say, you know what, that person was initially someone who I thought would be an ideal customer, but their requirements are so orthogonal of my core customer base, they're a client. So I can't serve them right now. Or they might be a future customer. And so the reason that you want to define a customer is you actually want to say no in the beginning more than you say yes. Because here's the problem. When you're starting a company, everyone's like, I'd love to help you and buy your product, but it's got to fit my specific needs. And what you end up with are 10 different versions of something that you can't support. What I want you to do is be successful with one cohort of customers, knock it out of the park for that group, and then start to expand to other profiles. Noreen and I were talking once about, people would call her and she'd spend 45 minutes kind of getting them to explain how these products work or whatever. That's insight into who your ideal customer might be, but it doesn't necessarily mean that person is your ideal customer. So I want you guys in the beginning to say no more than you say yes to who your ideal customer is. And so there are 4 reasons why. 1, you need accountability and focus. You need the ability to recruit and people to hunt for you. So let's say that you've got partners and you're bringing them into your business. If you don't know who your ideal customer is, they can't help you. It's also good to be able to benchmark and baseline. So I'm going to talk a little bit about something called a unit economic. You guys with me? Are we?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yes? Is everyone here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Let's breathe for a second. I know it's a lot of content. I'm talking really fast, but I'm assuming that you guys are going to watch this afterwards and consume it. So just stay with me. The reason why it matters is because you're going to have something called a unit economic that you're going to baseline and benchmark. Does anyone have an idea of what a unit economic is? What do you think it is, James?
I do not know for sure.
Who knows what a unit economic is?
It's basically how we think about it is like the goal that we have set to attain whatever, if it's your margin or whatever you're trying to achieve. Basically, like you've set this for yourself and that's what you're working towards.
Got it. So it's a little bit different than that. So unit economic is, it's the finite metrics at a customer level, right? So it's basically the cost. So kind of the top ones are cost of acquisition, which is typically CAC, lifetime value, which is essentially a measure of what the lifetime potential future value is of that customer as well as the present. So I have something called FLTV, which is the future potential value. That's wallet size. Christina, you've heard that terminology many times. And then LTV is the actual value of that customer annualized. So there's a ratio called LTV to CAC, which is a measure of health, meaning how much do I make versus how much do I spend to acquire that customer. Now, this is really important for ideal customer because you might have a great customer that fucking loves you, but it costs you a lot of money to acquire them and you don't make enough money on them. And so unit economic is a way for you to look at your business, not at a macro level, but at a micro level, because it's easy to hide at a macro level the issues that might be related to what your ideal customer is. So LTV, CAC, and then cost to serve or cost to retain. So you might have customers who are really cheap to acquire, have a high future lifetime value, but they call every single day with issues in servicing. I think this might be a challenge for people in your space, Christina, where it takes a lot of money to keep those people going and to get that lifetime value. And so you look at those metrics, and over time, they should all be improving because you should be getting better at your product, your go-to-market. Your cost of acquisition should be going down unless your LTV is growing at a rapid pace. But the ideal customer profile is inextricable from the unit economics. So it's easy to define your customer as someone who you aspire to have, but it's one other thing to say they're also profitable and working for the long-term growth of this business. James, you have a question?
No question. Just taking it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here are the elements of your ideal customer: demographic, age, race, location, problem statement. So James, you had a great problem statement. I'm going after restaurants who have these challenges. The personality of the persona, of the personal attributes of the person who you're selling to, the level in the organization, the type stage of the company, their buying process. This is really important. A lot of startups out there, you guys will not be those companies, is when you think about how your customer buys, it matters. Why do you think it matters, Sarah, to know how your customer buys?
Because then you know how to market your product and how to speak to them.
Exactly. There's an overused term, which I'm sure Christina hears every day at work, is the customer life cycle or the journey, which I don't know who created that terminology. But how your customer gets to a buy, you got to know that. And you actually want to know before you map them as your ideal customer. So James, if you're selling to a small restaurant, how do they buy software?
Right.
And that matters because you got to know how to sell it to them. You also have to know, where do you put your ads? You put them on Facebook or LinkedIn. And what's that first and last touch point? How do you convert them? What content do you need? Customer success stories, or do you need ROI data? And not only how they buy, but when they buy. I know one of the things that was a surprise to us when I was running the Felon group is we didn't think we were seasonal. We were highly seasonal. Our Q2 and our Q4s were massive, but we didn't know that until we look back in retrospect. So knowing how your customer buys as part of your definition process is key. And so James, when you're doing your interviews of your ICPs, you want to ask them, how do you make buying decisions? Who's involved? Is it a committee-based decision? Is it everyone has to be around the table? Is it unanimous? So
Right.
these are things that you want to start to understand about your ICP. And the last is, what are they currently using? So in Noreen's business, do people go into the CVS and buy gels and lubricants, or does it matter to them that something is non-homogenic, whatever the words are? She knows them better than I do. But you have to understand, what are they currently doing, and what's an alternative to what you're doing? Because the thing that we're always selling against in our businesses is fucking inertia, right? Like, the thing that you're going to sell against, James, is the fact that people are like, well, we've been doing this way for years.
Right.
Your story it's not compelling enough for me to change. And so knowing what their current solutions are and what the alternatives might be will help you fight inertia in these companies.